Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am not your mama's astrologer. Whoo! Welcome to this new week. And in my estimation, there is a life that was here before last week and a life that's here now. I feel like a war-torn trauma victim of a survivor of the depths of Mercury retrograde. Whew. That was ridiculous. It's still going, so don't think you're off the hook here. But boy, did it get me. I got, y'all. Did you get got? What happened to you, I wonder? It's been everybody around me that I've known has been affected by this. I've watched cars get flat tires and get backed into. I've watched identity theft. I've seen relationships falling apart. I have seen, guys, I have seen. Yes, I have. Oh, the things I've seen. But this week gives us some respite. It's got to, right? Last week, I felt like a completely different person than how I feel like I need to go into this week. Personally, my kitty died. That's one thing that happened. And I only bring it up in a sense of when our animal familiars die, they are our lesson keepers too. And I was already feeling the Mercury retrograde. But to lose something that is in your every single day life that brings you comfort, joy, and sound. Her little beautiful meow. My hair is falling apart over here. Her little beautiful, kind meow is hard. It was hard. It hurt my heart. It made me feel at a loss for how to cope with big things when even bigger things are happening. More so, it was how to communicate that in the right way to my kids. And it didn't get communicated in the right way. And it was a mess. And my kid fell apart at school. And, life just isn't going to be perfect. And life is going to be really messy, like my hair. I'm very bog witch chic to those of you who are just listening. This is what I call myself in general. But my hair is particularly undoing itself to express the mess of it, that in Mercury retrograde, we're not going to always be able to find the right words. We're not always going to be able to deliver hard news in the right way. And it's how resilient as a human species we are that makes us beautiful, brilliant, and light keepers. That even in this dark time, even as the light is fading, even as, this morning, boy, did I feel the chill of winter coming, we are still warm. We are still capable of light. And that's what I think this Mercury retrograde is trying to show us, that you can take things from us, you can crash our systems, you can make our phone systems not work, you can make our cars not work, you can make our systems not work, you can make us sick, you can do whatever. But at the end of the day, we are still a human being full of warmth and light, and it's in there. We just have to sometimes go to a deeper part of ourselves to draw it out. And that's what this has been all about. That's what Mercury retrograde tries to teach us. It tries to get us to be in such a retrospective space that, in fact, when new lessons arise, we don't need the retrospection because we are present. And understanding that we are the reapers of the things that we are sowing, that we are our own karmic wheel ever spinning. And while sometimes we may collide into each other, that is only to deepen the well, to deepen the lesson, to deepen the peace that is available to us because of the lengths of calamity that we're able to also get to. Yin yang, contrast. That's what life is all about. And boy, was I feeling it last week. This week, we get some helpers. We get some respite There is Thanksgiving if you celebrate that. I don't know that I celebrate what Thanksgiving is supposed to mean historically, but I will tell you that I support being thankful and grateful in my heart, getting the opportunity to take a little time off work and be with the people that I love most in the entire world. So I'm glad that we have good astrology that's supporting that on Monday. Mercury and Venus are coming together. It's love notes through our pondering. That's what I think of when I see that, because Mercury is in retrograde. Venus is in Scorpio, though she's starting to move out of it. And she's not exactly thrilled always, all the time, being in Scorpio, but there is this beautiful conjunction happening that allows us to ponder lovingly. What is one of your favorite memories? I don't know if you guys do that, but I went and saw a concert over the weekend. My dear, dear friend treated me like the most prettiest of princesses and took me to see Joshua Radin. And I've been listening to him since forever. Like, I can't even say how long, a couple decades. I've been listening to him for a very long time. And to hear the retrospection of some of those older songs that I have been heartbreaking to, that I have been heart mending to, that I have been heart singing to, that I've been smiling and frowning and listening and reading, and it was like that. It was like Mercury being conjunct Venus, because we all have lived experiences that live within us. And when Mercury retrograde asks us to slow down and think about things from a retrospective position, and Venus comes in to give us a hug, and in Scorpio to give us some depth, to give us some wonder, to ask us to do something lovely, well, I love that for us. That means we're getting an alley-oop. We're getting a high five cosmically. We're saying, when you are willing to ponder the past, sometimes you can find these beautiful nuggets of truth that are still alive in you. And how do you remember yourself? I was having this interesting conversation with my partner in the car, and I said that sometimes there's a song that came on, and I said, it reminds me of a time when I really was so happy. And he said, what was it about that time that made you happy? And I got to retrospectively think about that. Here's Mercury and Venus coming together, and say, it was a time that I really liked myself. It was a time that I got to be more present in my life. And it was a time that there weren't as many have-tos. When you become a mom, when you become a professional, when you hold so much as an adult, sometimes a song will come on, or a smell will be on the sidewalks, or a weather that mimicked a certain kind of weather that bloomed inside of you at a certain age will erupt these sensations of, I remember when. And on Monday, your homework is, what do you remember about love, about life, about yourself, that you need to bring back, that you need to ponder in order to write some love notes to yourself again? That I am still that girl, that girl that I liked so much, that sat in a smoke shop and gave mix CDs and read great books and liked herself so much because there wasn't so much expectation on what I needed to be or who I needed to become. I liked her. What did you like? Who did you like? What iteration of self felt really true to yourself? And listen, I'm 42 now. Me managing a smoke shop, not at all. Okay, that's not the vibe. And so it's an outdated me, but that was existing back then still resides in the crackles of my breath and rib cage and in the poppings of my neck. She's still awakened and alive. And then that song will come on and I'll say, that song was me in another life. And getting to hear a concert that were so many me's and so many other lives, it felt like I could open my heart and welcome them in. And so I want you too this week to welcome some of you back in, the yous that got lost along the way of the shoulding, of the musting, of the must-haves and the must-dos. There is us that is always ever present here, wanting to be seen again. So see yourself on Monday and maybe see some of the people around you too. The more we can share love, be love, and communicate love, the more love there is around us. Our expulsion of love only creates more love to bounce back to us. And I love that with Venus conjoining Mercury this week. The only kind of bummer is that Mars is squaring the nodes, and Mars is our warrior and the nodes are our fate, the things that we're building and letting go of. And when Mars comes in to wreck the joint, sometimes that can feel a little spicy. So you might want to worldview, look at what's going on and what's on the horizon. That's up. Yes. Yep. It's not a perfect week. It surely isn't. And Mars squaring the nodes can be a little dicey. But then Wednesday, Venus is going to trine Jupiter. And then it's setting us up because Venus is also trining Saturn. So there's this big water trine in the sky. Oof. A trine is a really positive aspect. And when it's in all of the water signs, Saturn, Venus, Jupiter being all in water signs, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio respectively, then there is this opportunity to feel all of it. Do you ever feel like so many things have happened? Oh, so much has happened in your little life that you couldn't possibly let it all in. You couldn't possibly sort it all out because that would be too much. It's almost like we're spreading ourselves into another dimension of ourselves. And when we do that, growing pains must ensue. But there is this moment midweek, this Wednesday, with this big water trine where for a little while we can let it all in. And instead of being stressed out by it, instead of being sad by our past, instead of pontificating about our future, we can sit here presently and say, this is me. I am me. Look at everything that's happened to this little body, this little me in this big, wide, vast expanse of a life that is only here for us for a short time. And for a moment, for just that moment, we can really see ourselves beautifully. We can really take that yin and yang that I started this conversation with and say, everything is alive inside of me. Even the things that have died, even the things that are outdated. I carry it with me. As a soul learning on this earth, I'm carrying all of it. And for this day, I allow it. I allow everything to be true. The kind, the beautiful, the ugly, the cruel. It's all here and it's fuel. It's all here and it is our whys, our raison d'etre, like our reason why we are here. Is the good, the bad, the ugly, the kind, the cruel. It's all there to be used, to be the fodder that lights our fires, instead of the thing that maybe we use often to put ourselves out. But that's not at all what the world is saying to us this week anyway. The world is saying, I did all of this for you, not to you. I am doing this to rise you, not bury you, even though one can often feel like the other, and both things can be true. Because indeed we can be buried so deep in the ground of ourselves, but in that way we are composting and becoming the seeds of what we will then grow into to the next self. Till then the next phase happens when we look back on this time, this moment, right now and say, I was something then, and now I'm something different. But I was something then. And remember, you today are that something of then that will the you of later will understand deeper. But we don't get to go that far. We don't get to, light years ahead of ourselves. We don't get to do that. We can only trust that we will look back on parts of this time in our lives and say, wow, I was doing something there. Wow, my kids were this age then. Wow, my love was blooming then. What is blooming in you now that's going to grow into something that 5 years from now you'll say, I remember her or him. I remember me. That felt so buried deep in that ground that one time. That time I didn't want to leave the house. That time where Mercury went retrograde and nothing seemed to go right. But then all of the sudden, something changed, because I promise you, no matter what, everything will change, because that's what we came here to do. And you will look back on the you of now and say, I remember when. And you'll look at those pictures and you'll be, oh, I wish I had that collagen now, but you don't. So enjoy your collagen. Enjoy your bog witch hair. Enjoy the way in which you buried yourself in this time to become the you 5 years from now. And this beautiful Venus trine Jupiter tells us that no matter how hard it is or no matter what, there's always something beautiful going on. My children are growing. They're strong. They're healthy. And while I lost one cat, I have 3 others, and I appreciate them more this week than I did last week, because they're here now. And they might not be here 5 years from now. So whatever that buriedness in me is right now also has these other things that are telling me to stay present and stay here with them. And then Thursday, guess what? Saturn goes direct. So all these hard lessons we've been retrospectively dotting our I's and crossing our T's is now going to say, you get it now. Go forward. You got the lesson. Now let's learn some new ones. And in that way, whenever a planet goes goes direct, it can still be a little clunky, because don't forget, it's been going backwards. So there needs to be a proverbial before we can start moving all the way forward. But we start to feel the rumblings of the stopping of the retrograde, because Thursday Saturn goes direct. And then, God bless us, Saturday Mercury goes direct. And now listen, Mercury is a feisty little devil. And yes, Mercury goes direct, but sometimes the act of Mercury going direct can feel even more retrograde-y than Mercury being in retrograde in the first place. So just make sure there's gas in your car and no overdraft fees, indeed. And then Sunday, Venus is going to trine Neptune. It's going to make this beautiful aspect in the sky with our dreams. Our heart and our dreams have a little forehead kiss, and then Venus goes into Sag. And Venus has been uncomfortable in Scorpio. So now Venus goes into Sag, which is love expansively. Love without attachment. Because truly, attachment is the thing that keeps us stuck. If we are attached to a day-to-day love, having to be a certain type of way, and then our partners are dishing up a new dish of themselves, well, calamity will ensue. But Venus moving into Sag teaches us, no, we want the change. We want the shift. We want the growth, because boring if we all just were giving each other the same thing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner of our hearts, then our hearts wouldn't really be truly nourished, because variety is the spice of life, and partnership is hard enough. If you take away variety, well, you surely will get sunk. And so it is truly a time to start moving a little more forward with planets going direct, while still honoring and connecting to the lessons, the harder lessons. They were hard won this cycle, you guys. And listen, next week, hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna foreshadow. It's hard. There's a full moon. There's all kinds of things going on that want to get in our way. But for a moment, we can take a breath. We can sit around a dinner table with our family and say, I am so thankful that no matter what's happened these weeks, I am still mine and you are still you. And here you are under candlelight, enjoying meals together, time together, hopefully some time off work together. And there's great love here. And that's why Venus is here all week, to remind us that there's great love here. Even if there isn't a single solitary person to have a Thanksgiving dinner with around you, you are that love. Love is you, and you are love, and you are loved. And believing that there are these powers that be on the other side of us, gently putting their hands on our shoulders, is what it's all about, is trusting that these harder moments, that these ever-changing times are moving us to a purpose, that it's not for nothing. That when I look at some of the music that I listened to this weekend and I look back at all of the tears I've cried, at all of the asks I've asked, and all of the wants I've wanted, I have some of those. Before there were kids, there was a longing for kids, and I have that. Before there was true home, I wished for home, and now I have that. That in myself, I have these things, a menagerie of my memories that I go back and love so much and realize there were so many times in my life where I was getting it right while still feeling like everything was wrong. That one of my very first heartbreaks, one of my first truest of loves, when we broke up, when I look back, I love that heartbreak for me. That sounds weird to say. Heartbreak, you loved heartbreak, but I did, because I went on these long walks and listened to these songs and felt lost, but like in a cool way, because I was like in my 20s, and you could be cool in heartbreak in your 20s. You weren't just getting wrinkles and white hair from the deal. You were really, really feeling something for the first time. That heartbreak, that juiciness of everything changed because of this love, and now everything is changing because I don't have it anymore. And what if we saw every heartbreak that way? What if my 42-year-old self could still have a beautiful heartbreak? Because in that dark, there's always that light. I am so thankful for you listeners. I am so thankful for the people that take time to listen, to be in space with me, to share me, to comment with me, to be in dialogue with me, to be on this planet Earth with me, in space with me. Thank you so much. I ask for nothing else other than your time and your ears and your desire to want to be here in space with me. Happy holidays if you celebrate it. Happy almost Mercury, Saturn going direct. Happy everything. May you find a little sliver of yourself. And the card pull for this week is Treasure Island. That's right. There's always a treasure to be found. But look at this card. The turtle has brought that treasure up from the deep, deep, dark depths of the ocean where creatures play that we've never met, where monsters dance, where we have never swam. But there's great love for you here and great treasures to be found always, no matter what. The end. I'll see you next week.